Kelvin, honey, where are you? How much longer are you gonna stay out before you finally come home? I haven't caught a glimpse of you since yesterday. Seriously, where on earth have you been? Please, hurry back as soon as you can.
Hey, Nancy. I realize it's been ages since we last spoke, but no need to worry, I'm still kicking, so don't sweat it.
Kelvin, what have you been doing until now? I got a message from your job recently. They told me that you had sent in your resignation letter recently. Please, tell me what in the world is going on.
Hey, don't go off on some pointless rant, okay? I've already made up my mind to quit my job, so I've handed in my resignation letter. Oh, and by the way, I won't be bothering to come home anymore. Ever.
What? What do you mean you're never coming home? But before that, why? I am not satisfied with you just saying you'll never come back. I don't understand why you're doing this. Please, just give me a reason.
It's none of your business anyway, and it won't matter for much longer. That's because I'm planning to divorce you.
You what?
There isn't a thing you can do about it now. I've already made up my mind. We're getting a divorce. I'll be sending you the paperwork for it shortly.
What? This is all going way too fast. How did it come to this? This is the first time you're contacting me in days, and it's just to tell me we're getting divorced? Something huge must have happened, right? Was it something I did?
Honestly, I don't even know if there's anything worth telling you. You didn't really have any part in it after all. All I can say is that I discovered my true soulmate in someone else.
Excuse me? What might you mean by that? So you're actually telling me that you have been cheating on me this whole time?
Well, not exactly. If you were to think about it in terms of which relationship was which, it'd be more like you were the person I was cheating with, not on.
What? There's so many things wrong with that. I don't know where to begin. How can you be cheating on someone else with your wife?
Oh, that's simple. The one who I feel is most important to me isn't you. The other woman is. Since she's more important to me than you are, it's like I've been cheating on her.
I am completely dumbfounded. Have you lost it? I am the one you were married to. You know, marriage? That thing where people are supposed to dedicate their lives to each other? What sort of crazy values do you hold? You feel like your wife is the partner you're cheating with?
Hey, no need to get all worked up and angry about it. Take a chill pill, will you? I'm only putting it that way because it seems like the most effective way to make my point. It's just an example, so relax.
I don't need to hear this nonsense right now. Just hurry up and come home already. You can't seriously expect me to just accept all of these crazy things that you're telling me over a text conversation, can you?
Oh, come on. Can't you actually use your brain for once and figure it out? When I'm laying it all out for you like this, can't you grasp the fact that I'm dumping you and moving in with someone else? It's not that hard to comprehend, really.
I see. To not only be cheating on me for what seems like some time already, but to also just divorce me out of the blue like this? You're absolutely horrible. I don't even know if there's a strong word enough to describe just how terrible a person you are.
Yeah, I knew you'd come back with some pathetic response like that. That's why I dreaded telling you in the first place. I knew you'd start whining and moaning, calling me all sorts of names and demanding money for some imagined betrayal. So I opted for a simple text, just to get you out of my life as quickly as possible.
Do you even realize how stupid you sound? If you're thinking about this as if you're just going to do whatever you want and get away with it scot-free, you are sorely mistaken. I will find you and I will make you pay for everything. Mark my words.
You really are a slow woman, you realize that? I guess you still haven't noticed that while I am leaving you, I'm still going to let you live in that house. And yet, all you're doing is whining about all the other things that aren't going the way you want. I'm trying to compromise with you here.
Compromise? What sort of a compromise is this?
Alright, let me dumb it down for a clueless woman like you. Even with Alan around, are you really okay with losing your place to stay? If that happens, you'd be in deep trouble, wouldn't you? I've done my homework, and I've discovered that in cases where people can't afford to pay up for things like cheating compensation, it's not uncommon for them to hand over their house instead. So here's the deal. If you just shut up and stop nagging, I'll hand over the damn house to you.
That's not what I'm trying to say here.
Well, what's it gonna be, huh? If you're expecting cash, tough luck, because I won't be able to give you that. In fact, if you keep pestering me like a persistent mosquito, I might just change my mind and not give you the house at all. So here's a delightful proposition for you and Alan. Pack your bags and get the hell out. Does that make you happy now?
Are you telling me you couldn't care less about what happens to your own son? How can you even call yourself a father? At the very least, you should think about the well-being of your own child.
Oh, should I now? Don't you think that's your role rather than mine?
Oh, is it now? You are really the worst. To think I was worrying about you all this time for nothing.
Ha! Don't you dare act like you ever had to worry about me in the first place. That's all on you. Now, here's the deal. If you can just shut up and stop with all this pointless whining and pathetic threats, I might consider giving you the house. It's a fairly new one, just a couple of years old. It may not be massive, but it's in damn good shape. If you ended up with that house, you wouldn't have much to complain about now, would you?
You're crazy. If you're actually serious about all this, then the least you can do is come and talk with me in person about it.
Ha ha ha. You think I'm actually going to do that? Dream on, loser. Consider this your final warning. If you don't want your lifestyle to crash and burn, I suggest you do exactly as I say. Well, with that, I've said all I needed to say. So goodbye. And make sure to give Alan a big ol' see ya from me, will you? You are such a coward. Who the hell do you think you are, sending someone over to my apartment?
I don't want to hear the word coward coming from a coward like you. Did you honestly think I would let you get away without making you take responsibility for your actions?
You're such a nuisance. Why can't you just shut up and let us live our life? For the sake of our happiness, I've gone through all of this work, finding a new career and making a new life for us. And yet, after all I've done for you, you just had to go and keep searching for me, didn't you?
I couldn't care less what dreams of a new life you have. You aren't going to escape your past transgressions that easily. Well, anyway, now that I've found you, any further talk you can have can go through my lawyer. Goodbye, you miserable excuse for a man.
You impudent little shrew. How dare you make such threats to a man like me? It's been a long time, Nancy. Have you been doing well?
Huh? Kelvin? Is that you? Why are you contacting me? I can't say I ever expected to hear from you again.
Huh? What? Do you have some problem with me messaging you? Well, whatever. I'll try to keep it brief. It looks like I'll be coming back to my house pretty soon.
Huh? I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm not quite sure what you mean. Where do you think you'll be returning? Your house? What house are you talking about?
I literally just told you. I will be coming back home to my house. Get prepared already.
I'm sorry, what? What am I getting prepared for?
I'm saying that you two need to get prepared to move out of that house. What? Did you think that when I returned we would get back together or something? After what you've done to me, you must be some kind of idiot to expect something like that. I will never get back together with you. Obviously, I will be coming back to my house to live with my current wife. I'm just telling you that I will be returning to my house. That's it.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. It's not like I want to go back to a life with you either. What I was more confused about is why you felt the need to contact me in the first place.
Are you intentionally asking dumb questions just to provoke me after a decade? Obviously, I'm reaching out because you and your little sidekick are currently squatting in my place. I'm being generous enough to give you a heads up instead of barging in unannounced. All I wanted was a smidge of gratitude for all the years I've let you freeload there. I haven't made you do anything unreasonable while I was gone, or even spoken to you at all. You should be thanking me for my incredible kindness. So instead of talking back at me, what you should be doing is packing your crap and vacating my house. Got it? What sort of stunt are you trying to pull here? Why is the door locked?
Excuse me?
Oh, don't start with this insolent attitude already. This is my house. Get out already. Even if you try to bar me from entering by keeping the door locked, it won't change a thing.
So, about that house, have you forgotten that 10 years have passed or something? What sort of a joke are you trying to make here?
What? What are you trying to say? Just shut up and open the door.
I see what's going on now. You're currently trying to barge into your old house, right? And I'm pretty sure you are currently trying to get into the house where you think we're living. Am I right? But thankfully, your presumption is quite off the mark.
Wait. What are you talking about?
Oh, you don't understand what's going on? Okay, I'll be happy to explain. It all started 10 years ago when I first figured out where you fled to. I have my lawyers sue you so you can pay me both child support and compensation for your cheating. Remember? Of course. I did this at the same time that I put in our divorce papers.
Yeah, I remember. What about it? You were making such a mess of things with your insolent demands. Even though I was kind enough to let you have my house, you still had to go and get a lawyer so you could drain even more money from me. I was lucky that my parents were able to make those payments for me at the time. To believe you went so far as to cause such trouble for my parents too. What kind of monster are you?
No, there was not a single thing wrong with what I did back then, especially after you abandoned your own child. Having to pay compensation and child support is not all out of the ordinary, is it? I had a right to receive what I did from you.
Oh, shut up!
Don't you remember? You said you were handing over that house to me. You told me that you would give me the house instead of a normal monetary compensation. And yet, 10 years later, you come back and tell me to give you the house back and move out? Now, isn't that just a strange request?
I don't see what you're being so smarmy about. I let you live there rent-free for 10 years. Hasn't that been enough for compensation already?
Oh, so that's how you think it works, huh? That's your interpretation of the situation?
What? Are you making fun of me? I'm not wrong, am I? You've been getting compensation from me through that house this whole time. You should be handing the house back over to me after this long. So, you're telling me you want the house even after stealing tens of thousands of dollars from me? Even someone like you can see that's a wholly unreasonable demand.
Of course, after having cheated on me, all you do is come to me with demands. Well, what you're saying isn't exactly wrong. This time at least. You're right, I've been getting compensation from you. So to hand over the house wouldn't exactly be wrong to do now, would it? Or at least, that's what you would like to say should be the case, right?
Yes, of course. When you've already been receiving money from me for this long, to still go so far as to demand the house is clearly going overboard. You clearly understand what I'm talking about. So why aren't you opening the door and leaving already?
You haven't figured things out from how I've been talking up until now? Honestly. I'm not opening the door and leaving because I'm not at that house anymore.
Huh? You're not?
You really just don't listen to people, do you? Why don't you try reading the messages I've sent you again? Maybe you'll actually figure it out this time. I cannot unlock the door because I am not physically there to unlock it. We aren't able to move out of a house we are no longer living in. Have I made myself clear?
Okay. I get it already. But if you're not living in the house anymore, then who is? Whoever it is, you need to chase them out of my house.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm afraid I just can't seem to remember. Thinking about it a little, I think when we divorced, my lawyer had spoken to me a little on the subject, but, well, almost immediately after we divorced, Ellen and I moved out of that house to live somewhere else. Did you not know this? I'm quite sure I told this to your parents shortly after we moved out.
What? You did? Seriously?
Receiving the house wasn't a simple, worry-free scenario. The process was arduous, and owning a house presented challenges I felt unequipped to handle. I extensively discussed this with your parents since the house and loans remained in your name, and you refused to communicate. Formal ownership transfers was impossible due to the outstanding loan. The house being relatively new meant there was a substantial remaining loan amount. Were you not informed about the necessary steps for transferring the house to me? You would have had to pay off the entire loan as compensation before the house could officially be handed over. I believe a lawyer or someone mentioned these details, but it's been over a decade and my memory is fuzzy.
Is that how it was all supposed to go?
You were the owner of the house back then. It's crucial information you should have remembered. Your past life didn't disappear just because you ran off with someone else. You still have responsibilities to fulfill. Yet, you ignored everything I and my lawyer discussed, going off on a tangent about your new life with your new soulmate. That's why I had to ask for monetary compensation instead of the house. If you had probably transferred the house to me, I wouldn't have needed to ask for money in the first place.
Shut up. Whether I did or didn't listen to something doesn't matter. That's all in the past. What's important now is what's happened to my house. Is it even my house anymore? Whose house is it?
I don't know. Why are you asking me? I already told you. I left that house after we divorced. I shouldn't have to tell you these things multiple times.
What? Are you kidding me? What do you mean you don't know? You were the last one there, weren't you? How could you just leave it and not know what happened to it?
You're completely wrong if you think I was taking care of that place for the past 10 years. I left as soon as I could. As I already mentioned, the house was still yours when I departed. It wasn't my responsibility to keep tabs on who eventually owned it. Why don't you figure that out yourself instead of constantly bothering me about it? It would be a better situation. Anyways, since we have no connection anymore, this is where I bid you farewell.
Wait, just hold on, please. If you know anything at all about this whole problem, please tell me. Why in the world are some random people I don't know living in my house? Did you seriously do nothing with it after we divorced? Do you really know nothing at all about it? Even if it's just something that might be trivial? Please, just tell me anything you know. Please help me. I'm begging you, Nancy, please. I need to talk to you about something important. It has to do with the house.
Oh, come on. Why do you think contacting me will help the situation? I have told you a million times already, I don't know anything about that house. I've had nothing to do with it for over a decade. Why can't you just ask your new wife about it instead of bothering me?
She's just as confused as I am. She thinks the whole situation is completely out of control. Look, the thing is, I finally worked up the courage to face my parents again. I went to talk to them, shameful as it was. I asked them the same thing I asked you. I asked if they knew anything about my old house.
Okay, looks like you're actually making progress for once in your life. And?
They told me they didn't know a thing. I was so sure that they must have been renting the place out to some other family, but it looks like I was completely wrong.
Oh, really? Well, that certainly isn't a first for you.
Hey, come on. The least you can do is listen to me. Anyway, I went around the neighborhood asking people if they knew anything about what happened with the house.
Wow, really? You mean you didn't just order your wife to do it for you? That really is a first.
Well, from what people told me, it sounds like there's been a family living there for the past 9 years.
Oh, really now? That actually sounds like it might get interesting.
What are you talking about? Don't go making light of my situation. This is really serious. We're talking about my house here. Look, anyway, I want to confirm something with you. When we divorced, did something happen there?
What? With your things or something?
No, I'm not talking about my stuff.
Well, in case you're curious, I just left all your stuff at the house when I left. I didn't sell it off for anything. I didn't do a thing about the electricity or water either. I just left it all as is.
You're saying you just left things as they were for that whole time? Why would you?
Well, why wouldn't I? The house is in your name after all. I figured that you might end up doing something with it, not just leave it there for 10 years.
Why didn't you tell me anything about this for 10 years? If you had just told me, I could have lived there with my wife.
I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with you cheating on me and running away with someone else. Perhaps it was because you went to great lengths to avoid any contact with me. You were actively trying to escape, to the extent that I had to send people after you for compensation. And now you're upset that I didn't inform you about leaving your house. Maybe I should have if you hadn't pushed me away so persistently. You created this situation for yourself. Now, you have to face the consequences. So, what will you do now? Let me reiterate. I have no knowledge about what's happening with your house. Asking me for information is pointless.
Could you perhaps go and look at the house for me? Nancy? Are you there? Hey, answer me. Hey, I ended up running into a bit of trouble with the police.
This is getting ridiculous. You don't have to report to me about every little mishap you get yourself stuck in. I really don't know why I haven't already blocked you. Something which I might remedy right now. Goodbye.
Wait, please wait. Could you please just go to the house for me? Look, what I said last week about how I was talking with my wife and her telling me things were out of control, that was all a lie. I got into some trouble at my new workplace and I was fired. So we ended up going from place to place trying to make things work, but she reached her limit and left me. That's why I came back in the first place.
Oh, is that so? Wow, I'm surprised how not surprised I am at this turn of events.
I'm sorry. I know I said terrible things to you. I treated you horribly, and I apologize. What I really want is to get back together with you. That's what I wanted from the start. But since I'm really not good at being honest about my feelings, I thought that if I told you to leave the house, you might ask to stay. And I thought maybe you'd try to hang on and eventually come back to me.
Did you forget that it's been 10 years since you left? We're in our 50s now. Did you expect me to cling to you for a place to live? Did you think I would remain stagnant and not move on with my life? I find your expectations utterly foolish. I also remember you saying you thought you were cheating on your mistress with your wife.
Come on, I'm begging you. I don't have anywhere else to go anymore.
Then go back to your parents' house.
They told me they didn't want me to stay with them either.
Oh, boo-hoo. Forgive me if I couldn't care less. Anyway, I don't even want to hear the sob story from you. I'm honestly more interested in how you said you ran into trouble with the police. What did you do now?
Oh, that. Well, I was thinking about what happened to my house, and I thought that maybe all those people had just decided to live in my house without permission.
Ah, so that's what you're thinking, huh? Wait, all those people? You mean there was some big crowd of people living there or something?
That's how it appeared to me. When I tried to get a glimpse of who was inside the house, I noticed many individuals who didn't seem local. It seemed like there were a lot of foreigners as well. Recently, I witnessed them having some kind of gathering, perhaps a barbecue. Witnessing that, I made up my mind to report it to the police. I called an officer and informed them that these people had recently occupied the house without any rights to it. I also mentioned how it seemed like they were using the place as personal storage. I became quite agitated during the process.
Ah, so you thought it was one of those cases, huh? I can't say I see that sort of thing happening very much, but I guess it's possible. It sounded like a situation you'd find on some crime show or something. Well, it sounds like you were able to get the house back, right? Isn't that good?
Well, that's the thing, you see. About that, could you please come back to the house?
Are you serious? Shouldn't it be obvious that there's no way I would go back there? What makes you think I'd change my mind now?
Please, I desperately need your help here. I have no idea what to do. The place has some horrible odor permeating everything inside. The garden looks like there's burn marks everywhere. The lawn looks completely ruined. The areas that even still look like they belong in a house are completely run down. Not only that, but the appliances that the squatters had brought are still there lying around too.
Oh, they're still there? Well, isn't that great? Those would be a great boost to start to live there again.
I just managed to take the house back, but it doesn't look like the place can really be lived in this state anymore.
Aw, that's too bad, isn't it? Well, thinking about it a bit more, What happened to the loan?
Huh? Loan?
Yeah, the loan. When did you quit work again?
I think it was maybe half a year ago?
Well, payments for that loan must have been taken out of your account that your salary was going to, right? I'm guessing it was set up to be automatically withdrawn monthly or something. Are you sure that's still okay? You aren't in danger of being unable to pay for it, are you?
Wait, huh? No way. This can't be happening. I thought it was strange. That must have been it.
Huh? What are you going on about now?
I thought that the money in my account was oddly low. I thought that maybe I wasn't being paid properly or something. I had stormed into the office one day, shouting at anyone who would listen. That's how the whole trouble with my job began.
It's hard to believe you did something so foolish. You actually stormed into your office, yelling at everyone based on an assumption from your bank balance? Meanwhile, I thought your work troubles stemmed from an affair with your coworker because you believed she was your true soulmate. I thought you felt like you were cheating on her with your new wife, given your twisted mindset. But you lost your job simply because you failed to review your bank statement. The details were right there, easily accessible. You could have inquired about the fee or discussed it with someone at your company to ensure proper payment.
Shut up, shut up, shut up. Why do you have to be so cruel to me at a time like this? Wait, no, this is even worse. It's been half a year since I left my job. And at the time, I figured my balance would last for another half a year or so. This is more than bad. It's a total catastrophe.
Ah, so it sounds like we finally reached the end of this tale of your colossal mistake. Congratulations. You're probably blacklisted from receiving any kind of loan now.
What are you talking about? Congratulations? You should know not to laugh at another's misfortune. Please, you gotta help me. I need you. I can't live without your help.
Well, Ellen and I can certainly live without you.
But it's important for a child to grow up with a father there.
Oh, now you're talking about that? I'm afraid you've forgotten that it's already been 10 years. Like I said, your past life doesn't disappear because you left it behind. It doesn't stop either. Ellen's 24 now. He's an adult. We're living very happy lives right now. We certainly don't need some troublemaker intruding on us. So just stay out of our affairs, okay? After all, it's not like we have anything to do with you, nor do we have any stake in what happens to you now. Anyway, this is where I block you now. Good luck finding a way to live again. I blocked him without waiting for a response. I guess it was good that I hadn't blocked him before, since I at least got to hear a funny story from him in the end. Sometime later, I heard back from Calvin's parents. Apparently the house ended up going for auction. Apparently the house only ended up going for 30% of what its expected market price was. Thanks to that, my pathetic, jobless ex-husband still had quite a hefty debt remaining. There's a pretty significant possibility that he'd have to declare bankruptcy. So his parents took pity on him and let him back in their house. They figured it would be better than him causing trouble for other people. As for me, since it's been 10 years since he left me, and my son is now a responsible adult, I've been relaxing and living my single life to its fullest.